today's agenda are mostly official matters of the directorates and personal in nature for upgradations, post, re-engagement, some extension, some absorption and regularization. Those, mostly those, yeah. And recognition of one village. Anato village has been pending for, I think, more than 8 years, according to them, yeah. So all cleared, and NOCs have been obtained from all necessary villages adjoining it, and they could complete all the formalities also. So today was just put up. Instead of holding that back again to let the others be cleared, we have cleared it today. That was one. And other cases, yeah, one important case was the possibility of central funds being lapsed if we don't utilize it in time, especially in the Department of Health and Family Welfare, medical, then in the urban development sector, municipal also, and also extended up to some extent to the rural development department also. So we have asked the departments what were the difficulties and why it has been taking so much time that now we have to be pulled up by the central ministries who were giving us 100% funding. They have expressed the difficulties because business aspect, small petty contractors were also involved in the construction of infrastructure. Suppliers were also involved. And to a great extent, our rural village councils and VDBs also. So all these departments, while trying to implement, they have faced a lot of difficulties because they don't work and finish it in time. So the completion certificates could not be given. That was one area which we asked them to send our men from here and see that they are pushed to execute the works, incompleted works early. And on the other side, of course, urban, it's not long since we had our ULB elections. And it's just a few months now since they have been installed, our municipals, 3 municipals and the other town councils. There were many works pending which had to be implemented through these ULBs. Yeah, we did not have ULBs earlier. So now they are also taking it up on war footing, and we hope during the remaining period of time they'll be able to successfully implement, and we will not forfeit ourselves of this opportunity. So that's it today. That was all.
What is the total amount that is being pulled up for in these departments?
It's for us, it's a huge amount, I must say. It is together, both RD and medical. It's the total is about 1,200 crores. Yeah, but the rest has been used, and we have remaining some 300 in one department, and the other about 200 something in the other department. Put together, we have about 600 crores left to be utilized. That's a huge amount for us, poor state like us, see? So we have to do everything to utilize it fully, which officers today have assured us also.
So these are regarding some infrastructure development or
Mostly to do with infrastructures, like we have to construct wellness centers, wherever they have been functioning in rented private quarters, because of lack of infrastructures. So all those have to be constructed in the rural areas with the assistance of our respective village councils, VDBs, and landowners again there with district and the district level officers' supervision. Those things are there. Another is the conversion of our all medical centers, like you have subsidiary, primary, and other higher grades, which should be converted into wellness centers. Yeah, so the transition they have to make. So wherever, whatever modifications have to be made, extensions maybe, and purchase of medical equipments also, as far as possible, state of the art, so that it will help our rural folks and not let them come to the urban areas in search of better facilities. So in another way, it's providing the required facilities at their doorsteps. Most are to do with that. But, our state, we always face financial difficulties. I think pay and wages for our assistants working at the grassroots level became a very important part of running these centers. So some were diverted for salary components. So we were all a little apprehensive, but on further inquiry, it seems it is permissible under the guidelines of the center. Right. So long as it is permissible, we are okay with it. For the rest, we should implement it early.
Nato village is in which district?
It is in our Newland district. Yeah.
So, sir, besides these issues, in the previous meeting also, like now the ENPO, which the tripartite talks were held in Dimapur, Jammu-Kidima for that matter. So there have been again, of course those may have been part of the demands put earlier also for the agreements, but they have been putting up pressure on further autonomy on financial aspects also, no? So those discussions, when is the cabinet or the state government likely to take up?
Yeah. In fact, I have been reading and watching the progress of the talks with the NPO through our media friends, whatever you have written or you project on the social media, your news channels. So as far as I could understand, it's progressing well, and they are engaged with the talks in depth and very seriously. We hope both sides will be sincere in their approach and reasonable, because at one go, all that we aspire for may not be able to be given. It may take the government of India also a little time after the talks to relook and assess on the proposals that they make. The same thing on the other side for the ENPO. They may also must have encountered some new issues or some unexpected response from the MHA, our AK Misra, and his team. So both sides needs to study the proposals made within that circle, within that area of whatever negotiations are going on the legislature, legislative powers, the financial, and the judiciary, I suppose, yeah. So it's all right. The government is all right. We have already gone through the proposals made by the MHA last time, after they have received the demands from the ENPO first. So I think they have screened out, and they could also size it down to those points only which are acceptable and can be given. So we hope that more such frequent talks can take place so that everything will be expedited. And on our side, our state government is also in touch with the other territorial councils of Bodoland and like that in the neighboring states as to how they are managing their systems. And one area of interest for us is we are a little different from those. And the ENPO also have time and again mentioned that they would not like to fall under the sixth schedule, which is prevailing in the rest of the country, and that they would like to retain this 371A, our special constitutional provision, and revert back to that system where in the earliest, the first decade, 64 to 74 of the statehood, it was being administered under a regional council. So we cannot 100% replicate that because that time was different. But something of that arrangement they are still discussing about. So we hope it will find a place ultimately in their talks.
So next meeting is, when is it likely to be, sir?
I don't remember in their last discussion on the 15th whether they have fixed another date or not. This has not yet come back to the cabinet still. Yeah, I suppose both sides, after reasonable deliberation, the matter will certainly come back to the cabinet again.
So in this new year, what is the expectation of the government of Nagaland on the talks?
Certainly, we are keeping our fingers crossed. And before we could have another consultative meeting, we have learned through the papers that they had gone to Delhi also, not far after our last consultative meeting. Government of India have invited the delegations to Delhi, and they have, I think, had 3-4 days discussion with the NSC and IM also, whether or not the other groups have been invited. I am ignorant about that. But as far as the papers are concerned, I don't know whether they could make any tangible progress. So after that, things are still almost the same, I think, or some developments have taken place, but both sides may have agreed not to divulge it to the people so far. But the last that we have seen is our interlocutor, our A.K. Misra, after the ENPO's talk on the 15th. After that, he had paid a visit to the NSC and IM Supremo, Mr. Moiva. So just before he left for Delhi again. So we hope all are progressing well on both sides. And for us, we will fix a time when to meet again and take stock of the latest status.
My last thing regarding the National Supremo declaring that they will go back to jungles, which our Chief Minister and the Deputy CMs also have met the HM. If the talks are not in the right direction or maybe does not come to a conclusion soon, they will go back to the jungle. They have threatened that Muiva had threatened our CM and Deputy CM to run and met the MHA and Home Minister also. But after coming back, they have not given any statement. Is the cabinet being updated on that? What is the stand of the center? Or is threatening?
Yes, I was in Delhi that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the All India Power Ministers Conference. And after that, I had not come back. One thing after the other, I was indisposed, and I had to remain for some time in Delhi. But as far as I could gather, on that cabinet meeting right after the statement of T.H. Muiva, they had met in Dimapur, in Rhododendron Hall, I think. I was supposed to come down, but CM asked me to stay back because they are coming up to meet the top people in Delhi. Nothing much transpired in that meeting. And I think our Deputy Chief Minister, Mr. Tia Zelang, had met the press and given a brief statement regarding that day's cabinet. So now, as far as I'm concerned, the Delhi meeting with the Home Minister was to appraise him, maybe, of the situation that people are getting restive. So how are the talks or the response of Delhi's mood? Just to get at that. But state elections in three states were going on, I think. Yeah, so I learned that our Home Minister requested the theme that we will take up for discussion another time. Since this is a serious issue, we cannot just rush through like that. So he requested them for another time. So that way we have come till now. But as far as the statement that different leaders are making from time to time, what do you expect? This is their language. So the world over, revolutionaries have their own style of presenting their approach or their intention or their present stand. It comes in different tones, different styles, and different manners. But I don't think anybody should be alarmed about it. It is so natural. We have been hearing this not for the first time, but for so many years, decades together. So it is all right. When one is a little impatient, then we have a tendency to raise our voice, and it is a way of asserting our position and also trying to draw the attention of the authorities that be. So it is all right. It is all right.
Sir, seemingly have been apprising the government to review the FMR rules.
Excuse me.
Only up to 10-kilometer radius. So how is the government going to take up the same?
It will be perhaps, as far as the government of Nagaland is concerned, we have, in no uncertain terms, already reacted in the assembly as well as a government, early on, soon after they had effected these rules, that we want a review and we want the status quo to be maintained as it was. So we are yet to get any official response from the government of India or from the MHA. Neighboring states, they have stated that fencings will be erected. I think you have also seen in some 2 states at least. But for our state, MHA particularly has not responded in any manner. So we should look at this issue from our point of view and through our state, our people's history. You see, I always say Nagaland, Kohima, is the political nerve center is the political nerve center of the entire Northeast. And it is an epicenter for many, many other aspects of life also for states and the people in this region. We are the trendsetters in the negative or positive ways. So we used to exert quite a lot of influence to the citizens in this region. So here, Delhi understands, and they know our history very well, that the others have just taken cue from us, and they are emulating us in many ways, especially in the socio-political context. But the difference is that the byproducts and the original product is different. So the treatment for these two cannot be the same. That we have to understand and know. So we feel for the others who are around us. But here, for us, it's an entirely, totally different story and history. So we hope the center will not be so blunt and dismiss our sentiments just like that, but would be more considerate. And certainly we are seeing already in parts of Noklak, that border, I think they are working out a certain system which may go down well with all of us in the Mon area and that area. Ultimately, we'll be able to work out something amicably. We're hopeful.
The PAP, even our chief minister, during the first cabinet meeting also, it was decided that to appeal the center. So the appeal has been made already, not to include PAP in our.
Yes, I think the purpose of the 6th January first cabinet meeting was for that, especially for that. Yeah. PAP came up and the government have already written to the center to reconsider their order, especially for our state. We are cash-strapped, financially so poor. We need revenue from tourists who comes. And we were doing quite well with our projection of the Hornbill Festival. Now, if a PAP is to come, then that will restrain the inflow of our guests, tourists from across the world and the mainland. So here, we thought Government of India is opening up in many ways by relaxing all this. And it would always be good not to isolate a certain area in this nation by saying that these are restricted areas. That way, people-to-people contact will be halted, and there will be more isolation again, and will be drawn apart further. So, though it is quite natural that security threats are there always, anyway, but we better have a very optimistic approach here and continue to maintain this sort of situation despite the underlying problems. Life must go on naturally and normally. That would be best. It would pay a rich dividend for the center as well as the state concern. It's our appeal.